situation that we are today? Why are we obsessively focused on the impact of one little tiny species, which is only one of the very millions of species that have exactly the same characteristics, and somehow we're getting obsessed about the impact of this one little species on us? And how is it possible? How can we explain that the world gets obsessed about one species and follows only one parameter, that is, how many people die from the species? I mean, it's insanity to its extreme, because the web of life, the life of tree, that it's all about relations, interrelations, feedback loops, etc. And then we go in this modern times to an absolute, an extreme form of simplicity. And I think that when we move to an extreme form of simplicity, we are in an extreme form of simplicity. That means that we are in decay. That means that we are living through a period of extreme decay. So my question is, one, why are we obsessed with one? And why is it possible, second question, to brainwash everyone to just only focus on that one? I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, life is life. That means air requires food. Food requires water. Water brings health. Health means jobs. Jobs means ethics. You know, I mean, it's just absolutely impossible to disconnect the web of life from the reality that we're facing today. And therefore, I'm asking myself, how could one profession in the world, the virologists, brainwash everyone to solely focus on that one parameter? I mean, you ask anyone who has studied immunology, which is quite close to virology. You ask anyone who's in virology, and they will say, well, you've got to look at the virus. And you ask anyone who is in immunology, and they will say, we need to strengthen the immunological system. I mean, when we know the signs that 100 million viruses will descend on every square meter on Earth every day, how can we be obsessed by putting things in front of our mouth so that we protect ourselves against one virus? I mean, how could we ever be brainwashed to believe that story? And then the third question I'm asking is, you know, we have self-imposed, because of the dictatorship of a few virologists, we have self-imposed the destruction of the economy, a total destruction. I mean, the whole service industries are gone, the whole tourism industry is gone, the cultural industries are gone, the restaurants, the cafes, the food business is gone. Everything is gone because of this obsession with one virus through the eyes of virologists only. And so my question is, how can we secure the re-emergence, la renaissance, the re-emergence of an economy? And of course, if we have to look at the stupidity of the decisions that have been made, and if we have to consider the harsh reality that will be descending on us, and how harsh historians will be looking at this time of today of absolute stupidity and singularity, you know, we have to ask ourselves, how do we get out of it? How do we get out of this situation where people believe that they have to do this and they can't even hug anymore, whereas life has always depended on the dynamics of the viruses, the bacteria, which, by the way, are trillions more in presence than there ever human beings, animals, or plants, or fungi, or algae. And so we have to ask ourselves, how do we get out of the mess? And that question allows us to rethink the way we organize life. And I think this is, to me, the core conclusion is, how do we get out of the mess that a few people pushed us into and a few people are very keen to benefit from? You know, it is absolutely shocking to me to know that the head of the program to protect the Americans against the coronavirus has actually patents registered for vaccines. How could we reconcile the ethics of an individual who claims to lead America through a crisis when he's pushing for vaccines on which he has a patent? I mean, that means that we have completely lost the core of the ethics of our world, and that business as usual is dominating. So the question is, how do we get out of it? Because those who criticize are shut down. Those who question are attacked. Those who are looking positive are forced to be negative. And to conclude, you know, when we are to wage a war, as we have done against Nazism, when we are waging a war, we are traditionally mobilizing everyone. This is the first time in history that we're waging a war by demobilizing everyone. No one is supposed to leave the house. Everyone is supposed to keep distance. And how can you imagine that when you demobilize the citizens of the world, that you're going to win a war? This is a war that has been designed to be lost. And therefore, the question comes back again: how do we get out of the mess? Thank you.